Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to show you my full coloring process from start to finish. I'm currently using Photoshop to make my illustrations, but apart from some extra features that I'm going to show you at the end, it won't really matter what type of art program you use, so just don't worry about that. For this tutorial I made a quick fan art of Flora and now it's time to color it. So let's get going. To color my illustrations, I always use the same brush, which is just a default hard brush that changes size based on the pen pressure. And that's literally it. That's all there is to it. First off, I will create a new group of layers for the colors and drag it under the already existing group where my line art layers are. And this will ensure that when I color, I won't go over my line art. Now it's time to choose the flat colors, or the base colors of your illustration, whatever you want to call it. What I like to do is having different layers for different parts of the character, such as a layer for the skin, one for the hair, and so on and so forth. I like to do this because it greatly helps with the shading process. But it also simplifies adding details to a specific part of the character. Next, I will block in the colors by outlining the area I want to color and then using the bucket tool to fit it in. The reason why I don't use the selection tool is because it can get quite messy with my type of line art, but also I just love this part of the drawing process. I find it very soothing and relaxing, so I just stick to this. Now, sometimes certain parts of the character have more than one base color. So what I'll do is adding a new layer, and in this case it's going to be on top of the skin layer, and clip it to the layer below. This will ensure that I can only color over the skin layer and not outside of it. And I will repeat the same process for each element of the illustration. For the background, I like to make a separate group with both the line art and the colors of the background and place it under everything else. Basically, it's always going to sit at the bottom of every project. Same process as before, I will clip a new layer on top of a flat color one, but this time I'm going to add some blush to the skin and different gradients to some other elements of the character. To do this, I will switch brush and use the default soft round brush that changes opacity based on the pen pressure. I like to do this because it adds a little bit of softness to my illustrations, which is usually lacking due to the type of style I'm going for. Next, I will change the color of my line art. I usually pick a darker version of the color that sits next to the line, if that makes sense, and I'll add it by using the same process as before, aka with a clipping mask layer. only this time I'm working on the line art layers. And now it comes the shading part. First off, I choose a gray color, add a clipping mask layer to each part of the character, set them to multiply, and adjust the opacity to my liking. When you add shadows, you gotta remember where the light source is and adjust your shadows accordingly. Basically, every piece of the illustration has to get treated and visualized as a 3D object. It's also important to remember how things are layered and therefore the extra shadows that will be casted on a lower layer. Once this process is done, I will merge the line art and color groups together in a single group and add a clipping mask on top of it. I like to add a dramatic light effect to the illustration, so I usually go for a blue or light blue color, set the layer to either multiply or color burn, and mess around with the opacity. Then I will start erasing to create my dramatic light. Now, this illustration is really not the perfect example for this last part of the process because I decided in the end to add a different effect to it for some reason. But I'm going to show you some of my other works for a better understanding of what I mean. I added a blur effect to give a softer look to the lights and shadows. And then I added a new layer, set it to overlay, chose a orange color and used the soft brush again to add an extra light to the edges of the shadows. Remember the extra features I was talking about in the beginning of the video? Well, here they are. By this time, I will make some color changes to my illustrations by clicking on filters and then camera raw filters. This will give you a wide range of options that you can mess around with to improve the color aspect of your illustration. Last but not least, you can find some really interesting filters by clicking on adjustments and then color lookup. And as you can see, there are already pre-made filters you can use on your illustration. Thank you all so much for watching this. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!